know these things. So even at 30, I'm still getting better. At 31, soon to be 32. But I still feel like, my body got a lot left. But honestly, I train so hard. Who knows when it's going to end? Yeah, but I'm confident I got the right people around me, and any day they see that I can't perform the way I used to, they'll let me know that it's time to hang them up, and I'll listen.
What do you see yourself doing after boxing?
I'm not sure, but I don't want to deal with dudes with nothing with boxing. No commentating, no coaching, none of that. It'll be a different life soon.
Walk away, just walk away completely.
It'll be a different life.
So your promotion company, Everything is Promotions. I mean, talk to me about that. I mean, how long is that been going on?
It's been going on for a few years. Um, Mainly for like after retirement, had something to do for and giving kids that's coming through this area, just in general, opportunities to opportunities to fight. Like I was given opportunities to fight, like with Craft Star, with Craft Fight, and Golden Boy, and Top Rank, and places like that.
Everything, I mean, who got you? Was it Keno Training? Was it you? Was it Anthony?
I think it was Barry, but I think it was kind of because of my brother. At a young age, he was getting a lot of knockouts. I forgot exactly how it came about, but I know eventually he had it on the shoes. Headband was running on the shoe, and after that, he started calling all of us headbangers. So that's what it was. You could probably ask Barry that story. He'd probably tell you better than I can.
What do you guys looking to do with the promotional company? A lot of guys out there.
Like I just said, I mean, it's giving people opportunities to fight on cars, and of course we want to start doing cars and things like that, just giving young up and coming kids opportunity to showcase their talent.
Champ, in your last fight against Danny Garcia, did you agree with the judge's decision, and how did you feel about the outcome of the fight?
I thought I won the fight, but at the end of the day, that's boxing. I don't have about 168 amateur fights. I feel like I've been given a few, so I mean it's an honest mistake. It's boxing. You learn from it, you move on, and you move on in life happily.
I had spoke to you when in the Barclays Center, when you were at the Barclays Center, and you said that you always wanted to fight with Danny Garcia. You finally got it. After the fight concluded, there was a lot of controversy. Did he come up to you and say that you won the fight, or do you want to enlighten us on that?
I don't recall it. If he did, I definitely don't remember. There was so much going on, so I can't tell you that he did.
Any more questions?
So why the catch weight 154 with Diaz?
54?
No, 44.
I wish.
44.
I wish. Because there's no titles on the line. I think at the end of the day, people make a big deal of weight classes, but I feel as though if me and the fighter can come to an agreement that we fight at a weight that we're both comfortable with, no titles on the line, then we should do so. That'll cut down on the so-called, what the fans would call it, ducking each other. Anything. If you're middleweight, you feel like you want to fight me, we can come up with a weight that we can make this happen. And we just make it happen. So at the end of the day, we're both comfortable with fighting this weight, so we have no excuses. We're both going to perform at our best, so we just go for it. Any title on the line, then we'll fight the weight class. I do understand that, but for the most part, we'll just fight the weight that we can.
More questions?
Thank you, Lamont.
All right, we'll talk to Barry now.
Yes.
camp is fine. Of course, this is what we do all day, every day. Everybody that know us know what we do in this gym. Uh, Attitude is, always on point. Lamont has a fighter's mentality. This is where he's most comfortable at. And for the most part, between fighting and being with his daughter, these are the two things that make him the most happy. So, all right.
You talked about being at 140, but there's 147. You mentioned 150, 40, 60. What's kind of down the road plan for that?
Well, of course, 47 is attractive because of the names at 47, and eventually that's where we end up being. But he's more than capable of still making 140. So we kind of caught between, 40, 47. If it's something attractive at 40, we can do that. Other than that, with the names at 47, and if these matches can be made at 47, then of course you get back to the days when fighting was fighting, when you had like Ray Leonard versus Hearn and Haglin, Duran, and Benitez, and all the legendary fighters, and that's what we push towards.
Is there maybe a little more motivation after the Garcia fight where some people thought Lamont won?
No, I wouldn't say more or less. Again, we don't get caught up in that. We just go out there, we prepare in this gym, and we go out there and do the best of what we do. Definitely, I thought that that was a good fight. I thought that was one of the more easier fights that we had in our career. If you saw Lamont after the fight, Lamont exited that ring with not so much as a busted lip. And really, he was right back in the gym that Monday. So, that's dust in the wind. If it would be great if they could fight again, but if not, we won't base our whole career on that win or that loss. With Danny, we still got to move on. So, whomever is next, and so be it.
You back in DC area again, it's always good to be back in your home, right?
Absolutely, that's sweet. People don't realize before Lamont fought Amir Khan here, I think it was like a 20-year window, somewhere in that range, that we had big time fighting here in DC. And so really a lot of what you see in this area right now pertaining to fighting, you have to give Lamont, and that squad a whole lot of credit for bringing boxing back to DC.
With all the moves that Alvin made for boxing, how do you think that transitions to boxing? That's almost like a rebuilding phase.
Well, if you look at the shirts that we sometimes wear, as far as PBC is concerned, and on the front of it has a caption, "Free Boxing for All." Didn't say me, didn't say Lamont, didn't say Al, it said for all. And, now you're seeing opponents making the salaries that regular fighters have made in main event fights. Boxing should be treated no different than any other major sport. Football, basketball, baseball, and so on and so forth. But of course, in the past, it's been treated like an underground sport. It hasn't got the publicity that it deserves. ESPN will show all the sports except for boxing, and so people really didn't know, what was going on. But since Al has taken the reins, with Bounce TV, Spike TV, NBC, CBS, ESPN, Showbox, Showtime, the whole nine, you're starting to get more exposure. And the thing that really caught my eye is the fact that now you're having people that are in the game, that have participated in the game, is commenting and commentating on the game. Like NFL got to retire football players and things, Hall of Fame players. Boxing should be the same way. We follow this pattern, it'll be right up there where it's supposed to be.
Troy typically was a 17-8 knockout.
I know that he was in the amateurs the same time Lamont was in the amateurs. He fought Carl Dargan, which we used to call Dynamite, and all them guys grew up together in the amateurs. And I know he won a gold medal for Dominican Republic in the games, I believe it was '08. I had an up-close and personal encounter with him. Lamont's nephew, Patrick, who's doing well in boxing right now, sparred him in Florida when he was connected with Mike Tyson in the group. So I know a little bit about him. everybody to step in that ring with us or against us, I view as a world champion, even if he don't have a name or an identity at that time. So therefore, when we approach him in the fight, we don't let our hands down, we don't underestimate him or overestimate him. He's just a fighter, and we will approach him just like a fighter with extreme prejudice.
What about Anthony's
I'm sorry.
What about Anthony's progression leading to this fight right now?
Oh, same thing. You see him there, just like his brother. I mean, from day one, since I had them guys in the gym, this is what they do all day, every day. Nothing surprises me about them as far as training is concerned or fighting is concerned, unless they go in there and not execute the way that they've been taught to do so.
How has it been working with all the fighters that you've seen off the ground? Adrian Broner, and also you had
Well, of course, I got a deep history with, most of these guys, and it stemmed from the amateurs years ago. You come in here, you may see anybody in here. Bernard Hopkins, David Rosado, the list go on and on and on. Austin, actually, and Anthony competed against each other in the Junior Olympics years ago. So it's one big giant family. And then, of course, I had the relationship with their coaches also. Virgil Hunter, Mike Stafford, Nazim Richardson. We were always on that journey together. I mean, times when we didn't have a dime. And, you putting 14 kids in a 7-passenger van driving from here to Cincinnati, overnight to get to a tournament. And then got to scrounge money up to find a hotel room, to stay. So, it was a journey. I'm very, very pleased to see that, these guys that have named and that we're talking about right now are doing so well in boxing. You saw Austin's last fight. He's doing great, and at 29 years old or 30, he's still progressing. Adrian Broner, of course, he lost his weight for a short spell there. Called us up, returned back home. He's been coming here since he was 17. And he actually used to live with Patrice Harris, which is Patrick's father. Watching them come in with the big oversized jeans and leather jacket and skull caps and Timberlands, and now, from that to where he is now. In my opinion, if he stay focused and do the things that he's capable of doing, along with the gift that he had to do this game, he will be that second couple. In fact, he may surpass him.
Coach, what was your assessment of Broner a la Berdiev?
I thought he did very, very well. Of course, I'm a little bit more as far as the guys are concerned, more critical than the norm, because I know there's room for improvement. But coming off of the Sean Porter loss, I thought he did very, very well. I thought he did good, but he is not as good as he will be.
You know Broner very, very well. Is he going to stay focused, or will he get back to, the games and playing around?
He's a funny kid. I got a bad habit of calling all them kids because I watched him grow. But he's a funny guy, and normally I'll get the phone call when he do something wrong or when something's not right. And I got the call from him. I was in Florida at the time after the Sean Porter fight. I didn't go. I didn't want to go because I knew it wasn't right. I didn't think he did the necessary things he needed to do to beat Sean. Now, take nothing away from Sean Porter. I thought Sean did what Sean needed to do. I thought Sean listened to his dad like he was supposed to, and I know he trained for the fight. But skill for skill, Adrian Broner is just a piece of work, man. He can do this thing. Most of his wounds are self-inflicted. Once he stops hurting himself, then he'll become that great fighter that we all know he can become. I'll get a call from him, when things are not right. Called me up, and he said that he wanted to come back to D.C. Told me he wanted to turn his life around. It's a process, but I saw some improvement. Still got a little ways to go, but I think he can make it.
Lamont seems to be a very humble fighter. fighter when it comes time to perform in the ring, he does indeed do that. How do you keep him humble like he is, or that's just something natural that's in him?
Ever since Lamont been a kid, 10 years old, he's never been that one that wanted to be all in the limelight and loud or need to be seen. He's comfortable with the skin that he's in, and you could look at some of the things that they went through in life, which could have actually added on to that attitude that he has. I've never met another human being like him in my 52 years of life. Whatever reason, you can smack him down, you can drag him through the mud, the whole nine. You know, you just heard him when one of you guys asked about Danny Garcia. The world saw it, I saw it. But not one time did he, go into the bag about being cheated or none of this stuff. I heard what Danny said. He dismissed it. That's just Lamont.
Did you and Angel Garcia talk or have any words after the fight?
I went in the back. I congratulated Danny. His father. They're not judges, they're not officials, they're not referees. They did what they felt as though they needed to do to come out with the win. Unfortunately, in this sport, this is a sport that people can get involved in the sport with virtually no history. There's no criteria, there's no training. I'm a judge, you sign some paperwork or what have you, and next thing you know, maybe with 1 or 2 classes, now you're all of a sudden you're an official. The crazy thing about this sport is, unlike football and the other major sports, 2 laws can be catastrophic to a person's career. So to judge on a fight, if I put Juan against John and I gave John the round, then I need to be able to tell and explain why I gave John the round. Other than that, you can just say, okay, I like this Trunks better, so I'm going to go ahead and award him the round. How can you dispute it? So I think we need to be held, as far as officiating and judges is concerned, to a higher standard. And we need to be held accountable for how we judge these fights.
Were you contacted about a rematch?
I was not. I would have jumped on that quick. I was ready for that. I actually asked Al about it a while ago, and that was one of the things that he said could possibly happen. But of course it'd take them to sign a contract. We definitely ready to sign it. You know us, the world know us. We never discriminate against who we fight. We want the best. In order to be considered to be the best, we need to fight the best. So, be it Danny, be it Lucas Martise, Bradley, if it takes to revisit them, or if they don't want to fight, you got other attractive fights out there, and we definitely would love to have it.
So same thing as promotion. I mean, how does it feel to get, pretty much everybody in there on that undercard? You got Clean Body, you got Anthony, you got Lamont Peterson,
Patrick was on the card.
Okay.
Patrick's not on the card anymore.
How's it feel to get all those guys on there, under the stand?
Oh, it's very cool. Anytime, you got a stable of fighter like we've been blessed to have, and all of them can fight. And to be able to bring them back home and showcase their skill and talent here in the District of Columbia or nearby it, is always a great thing. And I think a win for them guys is a win for the whole city, the whole area.
As far as the venue, I mean, how did you guys come up with
That was just, one of maybe 2 to 4 choices that we had. And at the time, DC Armory had something going on. And then, of course, basketball season had started, so we didn't know about the Verizon Center. I don't know what happened with the convention center, and then Al called and said, let's do it at the Patriot Center.
With all the construction going on in the area, mainly at the harbor,
Absolutely, without a doubt. I've had discussions about it, and once that casino is built, that could definitely be a game changer as far as our area is concerned in boxing. The thing that I think that we need to really, really focus on is, and I spoke to Juan earlier today about it, is as a city as a whole DMV, we got to be more supportive of our athletes. Definitely in boxing. Redskins hold their own, have been. Nats hold their own, even the Wizards now. But I think as a collective whole, if we're going to bring the eyes of the world here on our area, then we got to be more supportive. We have to.
Like I was asking you earlier, we spoke about it earlier. The guys in this area do not compete against each other. They compete on the outside of this area. So what is it that you think, what makes the area so tied up against each other, so they battle with each other all the time? It's more so with words, jealousy, actually, when it doesn't have to be there.
But you just pretty much, well, you summed up one part of it. You said jealousy. You have envy. You have people that are not willing to grind to get to a certain level, but they want what they see you get. And it's easier to hate or dislike that which you can't have, only because you're not going out there and grinding for it. If you got two people that are negative, they can get along all day long. But negative and positive, they're going to push each other away. It just don't happen. When I was a kid, growing up, and I lived in the projects, the thing is, my heroes was killers, dealers, pimps, gamblers. The one thing that I always respected about all of them, if you were a kid in the area that was either in athletics, school, or you had something positive going on, you weren't allowed to be on them corners. Even if it meant them putting their foot in your behind. That's what it was. We lost a couple of generations with that type of love. Now, it's cool to be dishonorable. It's cool to be a rat. It's cool to sell your crew out. In some kind of way, we got to turn that thing around and send it back in the direction that it was in the first place.
This area is a clue that they don't realize we have, at least in boxing area.
Oh, no question. You look around, you look at some of the talent that come out of DC. And it's a lot of talented kids, even in the juniors. Some of these little kids, man, can fight their behind on it. But because you've got such dysfunction, in this area and in our organization, what could be a great squad is separate. This coach mad at that coach. So your kid can't work with my kid. This parent got a problem with that parent over there. I don't want you in that gym. You know what I mean? So it's more about the adults and their selfishness than it is about the athlete. And that's what you have. And it's going to stay that way or get worse if we don't fix it now.
Getting back to the athletes, especially the amateur kids. We had a good group of amateur kids. Pat came out, we had all those kids, Lamont and all those. So how do you see the amateurs that we have right now? Do you see another wave?
Boxing always rejuvenates itself. Always. I mean, you can go back in the day. And even if it take a hit, it's always had a way to rebound. Definitely, I think it'll rebound, but it's going to take some work. I can only speak for my gym. And most of you guys have been in this gym before. You see the love. My kids greet you when you come in the door. We listen to R&B music mostly all the time. And there's no one champ. Like you said, Adrian is here. Austin is here. The Petersons are here. Hank Lundy, Rashid Warren, the list is going on and on. And everybody in here is an equal. You know what I mean? If you got a big old ego, you take it at the door. You can pick it up when you leave. I'm saying don't, but that's your choice. But you won't bring it to here.
Hey, do you remember? Remember? Yeah.
How's everything?
It's doing good. Yeah.
You look like you in shape, bro.
Yeah, I'm trying. I'm trying to get locked in.
Okay. Oh yeah, man, definitely. I mean, it's just one of them things, man. You know, I can't say they need to mature. Some of these people need to be done. Yeah, I mean, it's almost like a purge need to happen. You know what I mean? Just have a purge, get rid of it, and then bring back a new. It's necessary sometimes.
You mind if we do it?
Come on.
Wherever you want. This a good spot?
Yeah, it's
Okay.